Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Soundbites for Immigration Success. We're happy to have you with us today. We have with us Melonie Goldsworthy. Hi, Melonie. How are you?
Hi, I'm well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. We bring this series to you so you can get to know your fellow consultant, hear their challenges, hear their successes, hear their story, and at the end, hear their final tips for you. And hopefully, you can take those into your practice. But I'm going to start first with my first question to you, Melonie. Melonie, I know you've been a licensed consultant for 2015, and you've been working in the immigration industry since about 2003. But what was your inspiration to become an immigration consultant?
Well, I'm gonna go back in time. I'm gonna go way, way back to the 80s. As you know, I am a grandmother, but I call myself the CAPIC grandma. Um, our family moved to Canada in 1982. I was a child, and we left behind everything I knew to come to this country because my father was a Canadian citizen and he wanted to come back. After we were in Canada for a couple years, my mother abandoned us. She walked out on her family, and as the eldest child, I was left with my brothers and my father. My father couldn't deal very well with it, so I became an instant adult as a child and did my best to raise my brothers. I was in high school at the time, and I was advised to drop out of school to look after my family and not questioning, because back then women did as they were told, and so that's what I did. And it was a struggle because we were citizens of Canada. There were no supports, so I had to learn a lot on my own.
And how old were you then?
I was 15 when she left,
Wow.
and then 16 once I dropped out. And so, yeah, it was a struggle. And so I went through life. Of course, anybody who goes through such trauma when they're that young makes stupid decisions and makes a lot of mistakes. So I got married quite young. I had my first daughter at 21 and go from there. My marriage was then struggling, of course. So I was taking night courses to become a legal assistant because I knew eventually I'm going to have to figure out how to support myself. So at 29, I entered the workforce and started just as a file clerk and worked my behind off to learn everything I could. And I have a voracious curiosity. I love learning. It's what's got me through life. And so I landed at a very prestigious law firm called Bennett Jones here in Calgary, and I was just determined to learn and absorb as much as I could. And there was an immigration department there, and I got seconded there for a period of 1 year. And I found I really related to a lot of the people there because I know what it means to be an immigrant. I know what it's like to not belong. And so I just found the legal side of it, the background, really, really interesting. Then as time went on, I moved to other law firms as a legal assistant to, increase my income, get better. My daughters were growing up. We had some health concerns with my daughters. Life goes on. You meet new challenges. And then one law firm I landed at, I kept getting pulled in to help out in immigration, and I kept getting pulled, and I kept getting pulled, and eventually I landed there permanently. And a new lawyer came in, and he decided that anybody who was going to work in immigration had to get a designation. And this was around the time when it was at the ICCRC. And so I started going to school to do it, and I didn't mind because the clients, I related to them. I understood. Once again, their challenges. Sometimes they say, "Oh, my kids, they're doing this, they're doing that," and I'm like, "I get it." And I would say to those clients, "Do you know what? Do you know how traumatizing it is for a child to move to a foreign country?" And I would explain to them what their child is feeling because I knew. Um, and then, it was a lot of political things happened within the firm, but then also we had the 2015 crash in Alberta. Our economy
Oh, right, right.
tanked
Oil and
because
gas.
it was
Yeah.
so oil and gas. And not only was oil and gas crashing, it reverberated through almost every industry that supported oil and gas, including law firms, service sectors, hotels. I mean, you name it, everything crashed. So I lost my job. And usually I could walk across the street with my resume and get a job at any law firm I wanted. I was very good at what I did. I was senior. Not this time. There was nothing anywhere. And it was 2015. I've just written my exam to become an RCIC. Here I was without work, and my whole premise, like when I was going to school and doing all this, was I'm going to be an employee. I'm just going to be a paralegal in immigration at a law firm, and that's fine. I have no desire to be a businesswoman, no desire at all. But there I was. I wasn't even getting an interview. I don't even know if anybody saw my resume. And then I was like, well, I'll just be an admin anywhere else. And I applied dozens of places, hundreds of places, not a single response.
Wow, it was really bad.
Oh, it was awful. And so I got the email to say that I had passed the exam, and then I had all these things I had to do to become an official RCIC. I was freaking out because once again, my whole plan was I was going to be an employee. I was going to get my law firm to sign off on the piece of paper, and I'd be fine. So then all of a sudden, I had to incorporate. I had to learn how to launch a business, and I had a very short deadline to get it all done in. So I lost my mind. I went crazy. I uh, quickly incorporated. I mean, fortunately, because I'd worked in law since 2001 as a legal assistant, I had a lot of like not not in-depth knowledge, but I knew how corporations worked. I knew how, the basics. So I did the incorporation on my own. I you know, kind of cobbled together what I thought I needed. I got my license, and then I'm like, okay, now what? How do I get business? How do I support myself? I had just got married again when I got laid off. But literally the day after I got married is when I lost my job.
Wow.
And so you can imagine the stress that was on. And I had just recently become a grandmother for the first time, and I was just reeling. Um, and I had joined CAPIC as part of the support. I think like all new people do, we would join CAPIC because it's where we get information. And I was in the chat, and I had written something about how do I do this? I don't want to be a business person. What do I do? And some people had mentioned that there were government programs to support you in learning how to become a business person. And so I looked and I looked and I looked, and Alberta had just changed political parties from to the NDP, which was shocking to the planet. But one of the
This is
first things,
true.
yeah, but one of the first things the NDP did do was they stopped a lot of the programs that were there previously. One of them being the self-employment program. And so I couldn't. There was nothing that I could join because it was not available to me. So I went and found work with a uh, lawyer of ill repute, who was very difficult to work with, but I needed money. It wasn't a lot of money, but I needed something. The stress of my marriage was continuing, and I was just trying to do the best I could. I lasted there about 7 months before I was terminated. And then once again, I couldn't get work anywhere else. And then I realized I, I need to rely on myself. Fortunately, at that point, the self-employment program had reopened, and I immediately applied and I was accepted. So the self-employment program is under a part of EI, and it teaches up and coming entrepreneurs how to become self-employed. And it's a year-long program, and you get to take EI for several months of that. So I took the program and I threw myself into it to learn as much as I could, and it was very difficult. But I'm like, nope, I'm going to do this. So I did. I learned about being a proper business person. I learned all of the intricacies of the different areas. It's not just throwing up a shingle outside on the window and, launching a website. I learned all of the intricacies that is required to be a proper business person. Then after that, I learned about business networking, and I started to do all of that. And then I launched, and I was like, this is it. This is the full circle. I came here as a young child with no support and not knowing what I was doing, and I've learned how to do it. And as I started to get clients, and they were in that same chaotic state that I'd lived for the last few decades, and I discovered I can help you. I understand you. Breathe. It's okay. Breathe. And that was it. And so when the economy got better, I realized I do want to be an entrepreneur. I do want my own business. I do want to do this myself. I can reach more people this way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So full circle,
Yeah.
to, sort of life at 29 got you out there to support yourself. And then
Yeah.
this journey that took you to where you were.
Yeah.
Wow. So now, and here you are, 2024, and taking on the new challenges and the new landscape, and uh, what we have ahead. And we were talking off air about how, in many ways, it's more difficult, I think, to exist as an immigration consultant or to survive.
Yes.
I think, well, one of the things is there's so many programs and there's so much knowledge and information out there, and there's so much online, and clients are different, and they have their own worries. So I guess goes into my next question. I mean, you've talked about a lot of your challenges, so I'm going to put this to you. What for you? So is what you talked about just life itself? Has that been the biggest challenge, or do you have other challenges in terms of your business that you maybe would like to talk about, and how you're maybe tackling them or solving them?
I mean, yes, life is probably, I think we're all our biggest challenge because we spend so much time in our heads. Um, so yeah, I mean, the challenges I've been through, yeah, single again, not being able to keep a marriage, not being able to survive my chaotic life, feeling like a failure. I think that is a big challenge. And then combined being in an industry where they change on a dime. The pandemic really hurt me a lot. My Because I would, cut my teeth in business immigration. My main source of income is the international mobility. I bring in lots of workers to work on short-term projects, and my it was all about the treaties, the different you know uh, agreements that we have, free trade agreements and stuff. So the pandemic shut that all down because my clients now had to pay hotels. They had to pay their workers for 2 weeks to sit and do nothing. Meanwhile, they've got deadlines to meet on their contracts. They're losing money. They're getting penalized by Canadian companies for not meeting their deadlines, even though when those contracts were signed, no one could have anticipated this pandemic. So my clients just cut their losses and left. And I had
Wow.
nothing. Yeah. And so that was a huge, huge challenge. And I actually did go back in as a legal assistant. I went back into the industry because I had taken the SIBA loan thinking that this would be short term. I truly believe that, oh yeah, we'll bounce back in 6 months. It'll be fine. And it didn't work out that way. And I really had to have a strong thoughts about, okay, what do I do now? So I took a maternity leave coverage, and I'm like, okay, my business will sit. I'll work on it as much as I can, and any income from my business will go towards that loan. And I will work my butt off to, keep the lights on, pay my mortgage, and have food on the table, which I did. And it was a challenge, but it also was good because it showed me that I don't want to be an employee anymore. I am
Wow.
officially a businesswoman. I do not want to be told what to do. I know what to do. I'm a leader. I'm not a follower. And so, in a way, it taught me a lot about
It
myself.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you learned a lot about resiliency, and but I think you also, I mean, I remember you and I had a conversation around that time, and you had said to me, I'm going to have to sort of put my business on hold for 6 months, and go work for somebody else because it's a matter of survival. And I think sometimes that's what we have to do. I think that's a great takeaway.
Yes.
It's a great
Yes.
takeaway to sometimes you have a path and you have a plan, and sometimes things like a pandemic get in the way, and you have to pivot and find ways to survive, but also to know that you can come out on the other side.
Yes. It's not the end. And it's always, um, I mean, this goes towards mental wellness, but a lot of people may have seen the semicolon when people have a tattoo of a semicolon. And what that is it's in a sentence, a semicolon is not the end. There's more to come.
Ah,
And it is a suicide awareness thing. And I actually myself do have a semicolon tattoo. Um, but it also applies to business. Is It's a pause. It's not the end. It's not a period. It's a semicolon. There's more to come.
there's more to
And so
come.
I remind myself of that quite
Oh,
a bit now.
oh,
So
indeed,
yeah,
indeed. And
yeah,
I mean, just in 10 minutes, you sort of shared your life story, and it's been
yeah,
lots of challenges,
yes,
and lots of learning about yourself, and knowing that you can come out the other side. And, Melonie, you have so much to offer. You're so smart.
Thank you.
And just by doing this podcast, showing awareness that there'll be others out there who will, you're part of different groups where you're mentoring people, and you want to know that it's okay. You'll be okay.
Yes, you will be. And it's a mantra I have myself all the time. Sometimes in the morning, I lay there and I'm say, breathe. Just breathe. It'll be okay. Breathe. Because you're exactly where you need to be. And you can't force things. And I am the queen of forcing things. I have tried to I have tried to force things my entire life. And it's not been until recently I've realized, no, I just need to breathe and I'm exactly where I need to be. And whatever experience I go through is because I need to be there. I need to meet somebody. I'm not I didn't get to take this path that was my whole plan. I'm going on this path and
Yeah.
now there's a block. Well, that block is there for a reason. And even though it feels like it's the end of your world, it's not. You have to find what's the reason. This huge tapestry of life. We don't know why these things are happening. Why did I have to go work for a lawyer again? I didn't want to do that, but I met some people, and these people now are guiding me through my next stage where I'm uh, helping my father who is now in hospital. So if I had not met these people, I would not be coping as well as I am now. So now looking back, I can see I was meant to meet these people because these people were going to be in my path when I needed them.
And just and just talking to you now, and I know you're emotional.
Yeah,
This
I
is
am.
sort of reliving, and that's okay, and that's okay. And you must know, and for people who are listening, it's really important when you're struggling and to know that you're not alone and to reach out,
Yes,
and it's to put yourself out there and not tackle things alone. And so, Melanie, I want to put that
exactly.
out to you. We're your family here at CAPIC. You reach out to me anytime you feel you need a conversation, a chat, to vent, or a connection somewhere. Well, and that's what we do for each other, right? Because
Absolutely.
at the end of it,
Yes.
we're all humans, and as you say, we all can relate to that. To our, you can relate to your clients. We're making that journey
Yes.
from one country to the next, and then it's the journey of life. And
Yes.
really, at the end of the day, we want to do well professionally and personally, but we can all help each other. You know, the world will be a better place. It's so cliche-ish, but that's what it's
It's
about.
so true. And that's what immigration is about. We're here to help. There's a thousand bots out there that'll fill out a form for you. There's a thousand chat rooms that tell you how to do immigration. But what we're here, really, in my belief, is we're here to draw on our experience and our knowledge and to help support our clients on their path because everybody needs to know someone's got their back. And that's part
Yeah.
of the service we offer. We're not an assembly line to just sit there and get through as many people as we can and submit as many people as we can and get the objective. We're here as human beings to help and support other human beings and draw on our skills and knowledge to help them. And sometimes, yeah, you got to put on your counselor hat and kind of hold their hand a bit. But that's what they need. They can't get that from a robot or a chat room.
Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of being self-employed.
Yeah.
You can take an extra hour or half an hour and just listen or work on that file, unlike maybe the dentist office or that immigration factor line where you're just a
Yes.
number and you're just getting through the system. So it's about humanizing the experience. So my last question to you is, what advice would you have for somebody starting off today, or what advice would you have to yourself if you were starting off today?
Um, I would tell myself, not that I would listen, but I would tell myself, be patient. Whatever is meant to be will be. You're a survivor and it'll be okay.
Good
And
advice.
and I and I've noticed looking back, when I've needed something, it's been there. When I needed that self-employment program, I couldn't get into it in the first time, but that's because I had to learn. I learned by working at a really awful law firm, but it was trial by fire because I probably gained my most valuable knowledge during that 7 months. Then when that was over, suddenly the self-employment program opened up to me and I was able to take that. And so it was looking back, I couldn't get in it the first time because there was things I needed to learn. So when you've got a roadblock, it's there for a reason. Don't look at it and think this is the end of my life, nothing's ever going to happen. No, stop, breathe again, say, okay, at this time, it's either not meant to be or it's not meant to be right now. What am I
So
meant to be for? And then just follow. Just, you know how they say that God shuts a door and opens a window? Well, it is true. You just have to see it. And I know it's challenging. It's really easy for me to sit here and say that, but I'm drawing on years of traumatic experience when I do say it, is that there is another way. There is a reason for everything. And just stop, breathe, and look. You'll get there.
yeah, and I guess it's that old adage of and not saying why me, but instead saying what can I learn from this? What can I do? And
Yes.
of course, with all of this is, about being prepared and making plans and having a goal and having a focus and all those other tangible aspects of it that's into it. But you've given us a lot of the intangible and the human element. Melonie, I want to thank you for sharing your really personal story today.
Yes, I'm hoping I didn't make anyone cry. I'm crying a bit myself, but I do
Oh,
want people to know that it is hard, and that's okay. It's okay to reach out.
yeah. Please, please, anybody who's listening, if you're really struggling, you know, um, professionally or personally, reach out to a mental health person or a trusted family or friend. Reach out to us at CAPIC, and we'll make sure that you get some of the right supports in place because you should never be alone. Melonie, thank you for sharing your story. And I know good things are ahead for you. I'm excited for the next stage of your journey
Me too.
as you tackle that next stage of business and you enter the stage of your career. It's been a pleasure. And thank you to our audience. Thank you for listening today and being part of Melonie's story. We look forward to seeing you at the next podcast. Thanks again. And thanks again, Melonie.
Thank you.